Melissa Stifle from RPS.
Okay,
She was running. So
Audio was off if you want to do a quick preamble one more time.
yeah, oh, do I need to go through the roll call again? And
Did you do one quick?
yes.
Oh, I missed sleep.
okay, all right, so we'll call to order at 4:04 PM. And I'll take a quick attendance. Commissioner Burford,
Here.
Commissioner Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner McCusker,
Here.
Commissioner Waterbury,
Here.
Commissioner Chung.
Here.
Okay. And then open time for public expression. So we understand that Melissa is here. Now, if we do this at this time, we can't ask questions. If we put it later in the agenda.
Yes.
Okay,
According to Danielle.
Yeah.
okay, all right. So why don't we do the approval of the minutes and then we can have Melissa open things up. Okay, so assuming everybody had a chance to review the minutes, does anybody have any edits or corrections to them? Motion to approve,
Motion to approve.
seconded,
Okay.
all in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. So, thank you, Melissa, for doing this. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson, for having Melissa join us. Commissioner Johnson, you want to give just a quick update and then we can open things up?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Melissa?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Not too well.
Yeah, let me see if I can turn you up a bit.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Slightly, I'm still working on some volume. Let's get some.
Yeah, it's up all the way.
It's up all the way. If you could just,
Let's
raise your
see.
voice
Is
a
that,
little bit.
how is this?
Oh,
Yeah,
boy,
it's
no,
not
that
good.
was worse.
That's good?
Yeah, that's no good.
That's not good?
No, we can't hear. I can't hear you.
Do you
Oh,
want
you know what? I
to?
could dial you.
Yeah, you can call me and just put your cell phone on speaker.
Yeah, I can do that right now.
All right. Okay, do that. I'll hang up from this call.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna play them. Wow.
Where was the speaker coming through? Was it coming
Yeah.
through the walls?
Yeah.
Just that one.
It was only the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
I can speak loudly.
Yeah. Okay, so you want me to start with an introduction?
Yes, please.
So, Melissa, this is you're speaking to the San Rafael, California Fire Commission. And we have some previous fire chiefs here, some current fire chiefs, some firefighters, and some commissioners. And you know, the topic, we like to bring in different people to speak on an occasional basis. And I suggested that we could bring you in because that's what you do, is you do difficult to place property insurance. And that's, it's closely tied to the fire department and the fire service. And so, I built you guys a little bio on her, and I'll just read it. Melissa Stifle is an area senior vice president of property insurance at Risk Placement Services based in Los Angeles, California. Her current role is, as I said, that location industry. Melissa plays a key leadership role at RPS and one of the largest managing general agents and wholesale insurance brokers in the world. Her focus is in property insurance, which includes complex property placements and specialty risk solutions. She's known for her expertise in navigating challenging markets, including wildfire-prone regions like California. Recent industry discussion, Morales has she just changed her name from Miss Morales to Stifle, has contributed insights on earthquake insurance as well. We work together closely, and when I have a very difficult, like typically you have a property placement, you'll call up Travelers, Hartford, all the people that you've heard, right? But when it's a city of San Rafael and you've got maybe $1.3 billion, $1.8 billion in assets, and it's in a wildfire zone or any other type of city, many of the cities in California are in this situation, right? You have to have somebody that's all they do. And so I've asked her to talk a little bit about the property market and how the fire department interacts with her underwriting. And she said that she'd give us some background of where we're coming from, where we are, and what the future holds.
Okay, and are we doing this now, or did you?
You're good to go. You're on.
I'm just, okay, I'm on. Okay, well, first of all, thank you everyone for having me. And if there's any questions or you need clarity on anything, please let me know. As Ken mentioned, I specialize in property insurance, and I live in Los Angeles, and being in California, I run into wildfire quite a bit, as well as earthquakes. So starting with where we are today, because we just wrapped up Q3, we're going into Q4. So far in 2025, we have seen rate decreases, so some price relief for insurers. The rate decreases have been, in some cases, substantial, in some cases more than 20%. And we're also seeing improved terms and conditions for insurers. So how did we get to where we are today? If we back up and we look at the years 2020 to 2023, we saw extraordinary rate hikes. We saw decreased capacity. You had insureds out there who could barely afford their insurance, or they couldn't buy enough. They couldn't buy enough to satisfy their loan requirements. And we also saw extreme and aggressive underwriting discipline. That was overall prompted by significant losses and insurance companies not being profitable for many years. So prior to 2020, there was many different weather events that insurance companies were paying claims out on, and then their rates were deteriorating. And eventually, once you got to 2020 to 2023, their capital, the capital that and reinsurance that the insurance companies need in order to stay afloat and pay claims started drying up. This capital said, well, we're not making very good returns, so we'll take our money and we'll invest it in other industries or other market segments that are more profitable. And so you saw pricing get very expensive, and you saw insurance companies say, well, I used to give you 10 million of coverage, and now I can only give you 2.5. I'm sorry, go find the other 7.5 elsewhere. And then all of this was compounded by inflation. So, the inflation we saw around 2020 was like, no pun intended, kerosene on this fire. And so eventually capital started returning. It was pretty disciplined when it returned, but 2024, last year, was a turning point. You started to see a softening in the rates that insurers were being charged. You saw capacity coming back, reinsurance capital was coming back, and you saw competition amongst insurance companies ramping up. And that competition has stayed ramped up through 2025. Now, for 2026, barring no major catastrophe events or weather events, in 2026, we expect to see a leveling off, meaning, clients that got a 20% rate increase in 2025 might get flat or maybe 5 points off 2026. So it tampering down in the rate decreases that we're seeing. What makes this market unique is that this year we've seen the rates come down and terms and conditions improved, but what's out there always hovering over us is this weather volatility. So like the LA fires are an example. Right now they're estimated at, I think, 25 to 45 billion in damage. And then you have the Texas flooding that's estimated at 20 billion. So right there, that's 60 billion before we've even hit hurricane season in the Atlantic or the traditional wildfire season in the fall in California. And the insurance industry On the commercial side, it's probably set up to absorb about 120 billion of losses. So we're already halfway there, and we're just starting hurricane season. And I think a lot of insurance, especially out here on the West Coast, a question I get all the time is, why do I care about hurricane season? Why do I care about the flooding in Texas? I mean, of course you care about the people there, but how does that impact me? And the reason it impacts insurance in California is because it's all the same group of insurance companies. The insurance companies who have been helping, companies in California are also helping companies all along the Southeast and in Texas. So when you get those storms and that flooding that erodes their profitability, yeah, eventually it starts to impact us out here. So the market is good right now, but there is this feeling like it could shift at any second because we are already 60 billion in, and we're just hitting wind season, and that weather volatility still exists. So that's the overall what's happening in the property market kind of big picture. And then here in California, what we're seeing, it's interesting. Back in January, we did think that there was going to be more negative repercussions in the market from the Eaton and Palisades fire than there actually were, which was somewhat surprising, and I think it speaks to the competitiveness and the softening of this market. So even California insureds who are wildfire exposed or who maybe have had some losses on the commercial side or the large HOA or large community side are seeing rate decreases. From a mitigation standpoint, and I would welcome your comments on this as well, but from a mitigation standpoint, when Ken and I are having day-to-day conversations with the clients who are saying, what can I do? We're typically telling them to focus on brush clearance, removing debris from the roof, the rain gutters, around the yard that's near the structure, focus on water supply. Do you have it? How good is it? Do you have alternative forms of water supply like ponds, reservoirs, pools? Be aware of your proximity to your local fire department. Be aware of any egress issues you have, like Idlewild is a good example. It's got one road in and out. Focus on removing flammable vegetation. And also sealing your gaps in your vents so that an ember doesn't get in your structure. So when we're having day-to-day conversations with the insureds and they're saying, what can I do? Those are some of the things they can do before a fire even occurs to help improve the situation. And again, I welcome any feedback you guys have. I will add it to that list to share with our clients.
So my comment would be, if you were to underwrite the city and county or the city of San Rafael, you would run your modeling on that. And you would also, would you look at the protection class associated with the fire department?
Yes, and that would be factored into the modeling. So when Ken mentions the modeling, what he's referring to is we have within RPS we have an analytics group, and they can model different events. So they can model wildfire, they can model earthquakes, windstorms, floods. And so what they're doing is they are putting historical events into a system, and then they're running someone's particular exposure. So again, they can take, the exposure that San Rafael has and run it through their model and come out with some numbers that are the likely loss that would occur. So, the model will look something like in a major fire event, your loss is likely to be X. in a more minor fire event, your loss is likely to be wide. And so we find that helpful for insureds, because it's a data point. And then it helps them decide how much insurance they should be purchasing. Because again, for the past 5 years, we've seen people say, I either can't afford to buy all this insurance or it's not even available to me. So how much should I buy?
So if there's a $2 billion worth of property exposed here. And the buyer, CFO for the city of San Rafael feels, hey, I've got these guys. And I've got all the efforts that San Rafael has done over the years. I don't have to buy $2 billion worth of property. I can buy, I'll get my modeling from her and she'll use a couple different models and it'll say, your probable maximum loss of a fire based upon your fire service and what you've done is $1.2 billion. So that's what they'll buy to.
Mm.
That's what she'll buy to.
Yeah.
Right? But, and so, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've done over the past is I modeled San Rafael with a date of 5 years ago. And a date current now, and it's a dramatically different outcome.
Hmm.
And I've shared that with the chief before. You can continue to get better.
Does each individual company do their own modeling, or is there a single model that people buy into?
There's several. The two most common are RMS, risk modeling systems, and AIR. So those are the two most common in the industry that you'll see. We use it as a tool for our insurance. You see insurance companies use it. Some insurance companies will use RMS and couple it with other systems, but predominantly it's RMS, AIR, and again, RMS, which stands for Risk Modeling Solutions, is updated annually. So annually, they're building in the most recent wildfires, most recent hurricanes, the most recent floods. They're building it into the system and updating it to keep it as accurate as possible.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say, for example, an underwriter gets two submissions in, applications in, one's for San Rafael and one's Watsonville, or let's call it Modesto. And one of them has a fire protection class 1 and the other one's protection class 3. They've only got so much capacity to delegate, right? And so they make those decisions like based upon the efforts of the location, clearly, right?
Correct. And so I have been saying wildfire, very similar insurance wise, conceptually, very similar to earthquake, even though it's two very different things. Because if I'm an insurance company and I'm seeing every city or county or municipality in California, well, I'm thinking to myself, I have to make sure to keep the lights on, to keep my employees paid, and to be able to write those claim checks. So I have to monitor very carefully how much I'm giving to each city throughout the entire state. And they have to do that to maintain their loss reserves. They have to do that to maintain their credit rating, right? Because you want your insurance to be with a, Standard & Poor's or AM Best A-rated carrier. And in order to do that, they have to have money in the bank. And in order to keep that money in the bank, they have to be monitoring these areas very carefully. And so that has fed into the difficulty of finding wildfire insurance in the past 5 years. Because you approach, ABC insurance company, and they say, well, I'd love to give you $5 million of coverage, but I've already given, your 5 neighbors around you $5 million of coverage, and I've loaded up. So I can only give you $1 million, and I'm going to have it at this price in order to maintain the kind of loss reserves that I need in order to cut you all a check if something big happens.
And you had mentioned some changes in the modeling in the last 5 years in Delta. What's that attributable to?
They've just gotten better.
The models, they're more accurate?
I think they are, but she's more of an expert in property modeling. What do you think?
I think they're, that Wildfire probably has the largest standard deviation in the modeling. When you look at earthquakes and windstorms, these models have decades and decades of data built in, whereas wildfire, we really started to see the uptick in activity in probably the last 10 years. And so I think with each year that goes by, they're getting more and more accurate. But that, if you look at the standard deviation on like an earthquake or windstorm model compared to a wildfire model, it's still larger because it's not going back as far as the other perils are.
They have it's difficult, excuse me, but it's difficult to model wind, right? As you point out all the time, right? A fire could be, you could knock down a fire on a still day like that, and on a windy day, it could be the next.
Yesterday was a good example of that. We had a fire at Santa Fe Hill, mid-slope, hot and dry, obviously, late in the season, and the fire basically stayed at the area of origin because there was no wind. There were other factors that applied too, but that was one major one. There was no wind.
Yeah, on a bad day,
It would have run.
yeah. Yeah, and so that's very difficult for them to model. You get these big carriers like Berkshire Hathaway that have a lot of resources, and if they're going to do, say, San Rafael, they might put in wind monitors for 2 years, 3 years before they agree to put in major capacity. But they'll come in and they'll put in $400 or $500 million worth of capacity.
Well, and the models, like I said, they work to improve them with every year that goes by, and so, they are now also focused on factoring in what's referred to as urban conflagration. So if I run a model and I don't select urban conflagration to be a factor, that model is gonna run like very remote, wildfire in a very small, rural community, maybe one local fire department. But if I say, I want you to run this model, including urban conflagration and taking that into account, well, that's what happened in LA in January. You had a wildfire, but it wasn't in a remote area. It was in Palisades, and it was in Altadena, and it was in areas where a lot of people lived. There was a lot of businesses. The Palisades right near Santa Monica, which is a huge area. Altadena's right near Pasadena. So now there's also more focus of saying, okay, does this wildfire modeling contemplate urban conflagration, which is, that perfect storm of a big fire beating a very dense populated area.
Yeah, that's a real threat here.
It's a real threat everywhere.
Yeah.
So Ken, as we're thinking about this, what can we do as a fire commission, knowing this now? It sounds like doubling down for sure in continued support of our designation as a class 1. Like that's very helpful. And continuing to be advocates for that never lapses. Continuing to advocate for residential home hardening. And public awareness around that. Are there other things that we can do to either educate the public or?
And she knows this account that I'm gonna mention. And you're going to Yosemite, right? What was it, 3 weeks ago, we had the TCU Lightning Complex 6.5 fire, right? And it wiped off the map, a small town called Chinese Camp. I just happened to be in there, right? And there's an account that I'm the broker on that had a historic building in that town. And that particular account, which she knows very well, they are just militaristic about hardening the foundation or the area around it. 2 structures survived that fire, and that account's structure survived that fire. I'm looking forward to going out there and taking pictures of it. It's a historic mission.
Yeah.
And so we could, so I could share it with you guys, because more than ever, I think that the hardening of properties, and you're seeing houses as you go down the blocks around here, they're ripping out their gardens and they're redoing them more and more. So I think the Firewise community, if you can get 8 houses combined, I think that's a real initiative that we should really get behind.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Hey, thanks, Melissa. Anybody have any other questions for her? Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
thank you.
Melissa.
You, the hard, I mean, my job is hard finding the coverage, but you guys have the real hard job. And my parents live in an area here in Southern California, they are constantly evacuated, my in-laws home burned down in the Eden fire, so we all wanna say how much we appreciate you guys.
Thanks. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, everyone.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
So Ken, you're saying that your client that was in Chinese camp, because they fire hardened, their structures survived?
It survived.
Wow.
And I was standing, I took my dogs to Yosemite in that Lake Don Pedro. So I stopped there, I let them swim, and then we went and got water in Chinese camp. Just, that was on Labor Day, and that burned the Thursday after. And, yeah,
Do
so,
they know the cause of ignition?
I don't know.
It
These
was
guys
lightning
know.
here.
It was severe weather, right? It was lightning strikes.
Yeah, well, it was
Oh,
lightning
that's
strikes,
right.
TCU lightning complex, yeah, lightning strikes. Yeah, so anyway, she's real smart. She's a life of a party when you go to an event with her, and I thought you guys might.
Wow, that was very interesting.
Yeah, that was great. It'd be great to see those photos if you make it back up there.
Yeah.
And if there's any learning, and again, public awareness around, here's how home hardening works. And here are
Yeah.
things, simple things that you can do at your residence to.
Yeah, I was thinking about, I actually threw my badge in my truck because I figured if I go, business card might not get me in, but the badge might get me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I have to go take a picture.
Question for Chief Senate. How much does, you probably don't know this, but I'm gonna throw it out there. How much insurance does the city of San Rafael currently carry? Okay, you're like me, and then does it cover all the city properties or?
Yeah, it does. It's the Brokers Alliance. It's a buddy of mine. They have a big JPA. You have this city.
So like
fantastic.
all the fire departments, all city-owned property is covered under that umbrella?
Yeah, the property is, yes.
So do you know how much the city
The
carries?
limit, I don't know I think it renews on 7/1. So I don't know where,
Be interesting to know.
So,
How much I mean, it's
I'm
gotta,
sure it's public information.
so Ken, associated with this, we have measure C, B, that 10 years of wildfire,
Yeah,
emergency, which expires when?
coming up, couple years, I think.
Yeah. Another 4 years, right? We have an expiration of 4 years. So does having the funding for staff to minimize or to have wildland mitigation programs, I would imagine, is factored into this.
I'd be interested to see how they lay that out for the buyer, right? Like,
Mhm.
you guys are spending X. That X is gonna translate into so much in premium savings, right? By your efforts, by our loss control efforts, right? Our safety, our firewise efforts. And that could, and they could model it, right? Based upon this, and I'm sure that's what they're gonna do. To answer your question, is just say, hey, look, we spent $400,000 on these folks, and would that reduce our premium by?
Mhm.
Somebody will do that.
Good. Well, thank you. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for having Melissa join us. Hopefully that was valuable for everybody. As you know, we've been trying to do more of these sessions of just education so we can learn as fire commissioners and think about how can we apply that or inform the public or in other ways support the department. As a part of that, we were also scheduled and we'll be flexible here, but a member of the SAFE team was going to come in, and as you know, we've talked about that before as being something really interesting for us to learn about. That was started several years ago, and as a way to offload some of the call volume on both the fire department, but also the police department, and a pretty innovative program for intervention without escalation. So we'll see if it works out for today. If not, hopefully at a future meeting, but as we've talked about, just the increasing call volumes on the existing resources can become problematic. And so to have something like the SAFE team that can help alleviate some of that is certainly a step in the right direction. So with that, then we'll get back to the rest, to the regularly scheduled programming, on the agenda. So we have the Fire Foundation update, Donna, any updates?
Yes, so I'm sure everyone's aware the Fire Foundation is doing an event at Andy's Market this Sunday. You're all invited, of course, and
Is it 6 p.m.?
it starts in the afternoon. It's on the website, and I wanted you to share with the group the work that you've done on the website, but I want to say it starts at 3 for the children, and it goes through, there's live music, Revolver is the band. I should know the hours, but I want to say it goes till 6 or 7.
I think it's 6 to 9 is what I saw.
I think they changed it to an afternoon event.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah, and they've moved the time up.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you,
seemed a
John.
little bit late on a
Yeah.
Sunday.
Well, it's getting
Yeah.
darker earlier. They are gonna have booths out for donations. They are gonna have the banner on the stage to promote the foundation. So Kira McClellan, who is now the board chair, is doing a bang-up job of running forward with the foundation. They're also working with the fire department with help me out, she sent it, the medical director, Jordan.
Sachs.
Thank you. Jordan Sachs and Curie are working with the fire department to get input from the department on what they wish to see the Fire Foundation create as the next major fundraiser. So basically, just moving forward, the big event for right now, the rest of this year, is the event at Andy's Market. That's the first and only event of the year, and it's happening. And next year is under serious review, so. Question?
Just a comment, Bounce House and Fall Crafts noon till 2.
Kids,
Oktoberfest beer and brats noon till 5. Live music at. So
3,
3 o'clock.
Okay.
yeah,
So it probably wraps up by 5.
so noon for the kids, 3 for the music.
3 to 5.
So Donna, any truth to the rumors that the crab feed might be something under consideration at some point in the future?
So I haven't heard those rumors.
Okay.
I think the crab feed is dead because the community center is going to be demolished. So, yeah, you're like me. Yeah, so the community center is gonna be
Rebuilt.
demolished, rebuilt, and then the library put there as well. When I learned that this week, I went, well, then the crab feed is definitely dead because that was the venue for where it was held, and so I don't see the crab feed coming back. I don't think the
Okay.
foundation wants to do that. I'm surprised you've heard otherwise.
Yeah, well, I heard. But interesting to know about the community center.
Yeah, it's a B Street Community Center.
If you go on the city website, you can see a rendition of the proposed.
Oh, really?
Very beautiful.
Okay.
It'd be a
Yeah, you're
Big
paying
change.
for it on your tax bill and it's
Yes,
there
you
in a beautiful way. 30 years or however much longer it takes to build it. Yeah, it's a big hit this year. I don't know. I don't know if it's based on the value of your property or not, but it's substantial.
It's like $500.
Mine was 300.
A special assessment?
Yes,
Yes.
30 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna, and the city council was interviewing whom they're gonna choose this week. It was one of the city council agenda items to, I suppose, be the architect or structural engineer or both for the property. And I said, I sure hope they get somebody good, not the person that did station.
54.
Yeah. I said, don't go, I said, I hope they don't go for the cheapest bidder. That's a big mistake. Cheaper isn't always better. But no, I don't see how they're gonna do it because where else in the city do we have a property like the community center that can hold that? I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
playback to wherever you heard the rumor.
Okay, okay. All right, sounds good. And then what you had talked about, the website,
Yes,
I gave an update at the last meeting, but just real briefly, it's a work in progress and we're considering a new platform. It's super easy to use. Even somebody who doesn't know anything about web design like me can put it together. And I'm trying to incorporate a lot of visuals. So Thomas has provided me with some great photography and even some video from the drones. Because what we're really trying to show is how contributions to the Fire Foundation directly impact the fire department and the ability to protect our citizens. So the drone program is a huge part of that, and quite a few other elements as well. So that's kind of the purpose of it. And then also it could be a venue for public awareness on some of these fire safety issues that we've been talking about, home hardening and other things. And maybe even we could, use it as a forum to create awareness around just insurance and how that works and how important that is to have a firewise community in your neighborhood. So it's a work in progress, and Carrie's been great. We've been meeting on this over the past couple of months, and hopefully we'll have something ready before the end of the year to flip the switch.
Beautiful.
Great. Anything else on the fire foundation? Okay. John, anything on the 150th?
So open house this week is tied to that. 150th, it's on Saturday, 10 till 1. B is doing their thing, and FD is, we will line up with showcase. We said that the PD is having static displays, so no demonstration, the last I heard. We are having an auto extrication demonstration at 12 noon.
Where will that be?
In the city hall lot,
Cool.
that we can't close down. Found out.
Okay.
It's very difficult to close down streets. But we want to do it in the lot. We want to emphasize the EMS portion of our services. So it's gonna be an auto extrication with a, probably a mannequin as a victim, but what happens after that?
Yeah.
Driver is extricated. And what goes on after that?
Okay. And what time is that again?
So the open house is from 10 till 1. That demonstration takes place at 12.
Okay. Great.
And we had our badge pinning ceremony. We still, which was great. And, yeah, so this will probably be the last minute of the year.
Excellent. Okay. Hopefully all of us can make it. The next item was media and news articles. I'm not sure, were any news articles circulated? I had put one in, but I wasn't, and that was an op-ed that came from our city manager. Did you all receive that from Thomas?
And Stanford did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Through on a website that was included with our email.
That was the BBC piece about Canada and the video. Okay.
Yeah, which is,
Yeah.
they're in California too, that's what caught my attention.
Mhm.
And it's something, it's funny, did you see it at all?
Which one is that?
BBC presentation on, it's
Oh,
computerized. I'm gonna say this. There are now new computer programs that sift the air. And the amazing to me, they're very small, not much bigger than this and yay big. And they can delineate just enough difference to indicate there's smoke present. And then what's in the smoke has gotten really crazy into detail. These sensors are placed in let's say in a ring, you could put a ring of them around San Rafael Hill. And the nanosecond that they sense smoke, they'll tell you exactly where the fire is. Because they triangulate with each other. They talk, all these little hosts talk to each other. And in the process, they communicate with dispatch and everything else, so you know where to go. Blah, blah. This is in use in Canada, in Europe, and is somewhere in California. They didn't identify the location. But it's the next step in the ability to beat the fire. And they gave a demo on the tape where they have a container of trash outside in a parking lot. And probably 50 feet away is the office where they can read the sensors. So they start the fire. And they walk to the office. By the time they get into the office, the alarms go off. And they had 5 physicians that were able to read this location. 1 of them lit up, 2 of them lit up, 3 of them lit up. And in that triangle, they spotted the fire. And all of that happened within 5 minutes.
So maybe that's something the Fire Foundation takes and said,
Well, I was thinking
I
about that,
bet.
but they didn't get into how much these systems cost. You can bet they don't give them away. So,
but it's gonna it'll be like microwaves, it'll keep getting better and better.
oh, sure, down the road,
And it's a cool
absolutely, yeah.
system.
They're AI, I mean, one of these
Yeah.
days, we'll be walking along and your phone will be part of a network you don't even know about. And it'll be doing the work for you. I mean, that's what's
Good, it's good.
out there.
I have a question regarding this article for you, Chief. For the Canal Street Fire. With the extended operations. And hiring outside contractors to, heavy equipment, et cetera. Crime scene, police, kind of operation. Is there a contingency in the city budget for things like that?
I presume there is, it just, they have to anticipate potential costs like that and, just absorb it.
Yeah,
So, yeah. And they'll try and pass a lot of that off to, the owner's insurance companies for reimbursement. So, and I don't know how successful they'll be, but I'm sure they'll recover a portion of it,
yeah,
if not a significant portion.
just curious how
Yeah.
it all works.
Good. Yeah, I thought it was just such a nice article. The headline was, "In the face of tragedy, San Rafael came together," and I think that just really captured the moment. And it was great to see Chief Sinnott as well as Quinn Gardner speaking at the press conference. I watched the replay of it and was just so proud and felt like the professionalism of the two of you were amazing for something that was just such a significant tragedy in terms of loss of life. But also so interesting to see how the fireboat came
Yep.
and
And
was
the drum.
used and the drum, yeah.
Yeah.
So how the foundation really had such a big part of
Huge.
that,
Huge, both resources,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
you know.
really cool.
And then Stan, yeah, the BBC piece I thought was so interesting. There was the second element to it that also had the technology piece where I think it was an AI enabled camera mounted to a helicopter that just is able to detect things that you couldn't previously. So there's so much technology that's being developed, and I think that's a fantastic idea, Donna.
Yeah.
Thinking about
Yeah.
that, some of this new technology, that's a great,
Future projects.
yeah,
Well, because like you said, it's increasing the safety of both the citizens and the firefighters.
yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and just hearing also with the drone, I was talking to Chief Hamilton and just asking him, has that helped in terms of the way that you changed tactics to address a fire? And he said, absolutely. So,
The drone has absolutely been amazing.
um,
It's just become such a valuable resource.
mm,
And we're gonna build it out. We've got the Big Mac. Next step is the Little Mac.
Mm,
Did you know about that?
mm,
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's the next step. I know.
wow.
It'll be smaller and able to navigate in places that the Big Mac can't go. Thomas and I are working on that. Yeah,
So just 2 quick examples of Big Mac. So on Monday, we had a structure fire at 32 Woodland Avenue. And it was reported to be on Anderson Drive. Incorrect address was given. Thomas immediately got the drone airborne and basically was overhead within a matter of minutes and was able to pinpoint the location as not being on Anderson, but being on Woodland.
Was he operating it from
from
here?
here.
Yeah.
And then, we got into my vehicle and he continued to pilot it while we responded to the scene. And then when he arrived, he face to face with the incident commander so that the incident commander could get an overhead, observation because the fire was on the roof. Difficult to access. It was the equivalent of a two-story building. There was a large commercial structure, had two apartments up front, and then part of it was divided into a large storage space, and then the portion where the fire started was an automotive repair facility. And the fire started in a flue in the paint booth and burned up the underside of the ceiling and then through the roof and the top portion of the flue. So really couldn't see a whole lot from the street, but the drone was right overhead and was there in a matter of moments. So that's just one example this week. And then another one occurred yesterday. We had a fire on Sanderfell Hill, just above Boyd Park behind Falkirk Mansion. And it was about mid-slope. And as the fire units were responding, they couldn't see it from the street. We could see it from here. Thomas came right outside, launched the drone, again, overhead in a matter of seconds. It was over the fire. And then Chief Roman, using his portable radio, standing right out here with us, was able to direct the firefighters to exactly where the fire was. And then Chief Hamilton was able to utilize, his device and then look at Big Mac's picture and get a better idea of what was going on too. So absolutely amazing.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. That's
Makes me
something to be
happy.
proud of for the foundation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stan, if you would, send me again that article about the devices that can detect a fire.
Sure, okay.
And so
Do
I
you still have the email about this meeting? That can,
Probably not. I've been barraged with, my email box has just been blowing up lately.
I'll
If you
send,
could resend it, that would be lovely.
Great. Anything else in the news media? Any other comments? All right, let's go to Commissioner.
yes.
Oh,
No,
Scratch my head. No, scratch my head.
Okay, let's go to Commissioner reports. So Commissioner Johnson.
I don't have a series of events took place, travel and business and tough time of year. I don't have anything other than I brought my buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for having Melissa join us too. Commissioner Burford.
Not much more than what we've discussed on the BBC thing. I did see an ad for the fire department. We are openly looking for EMTs.
Yes, in fact, we have an active recruitment taking place right now. Applications have been received. Over 100 applications for our BLS ambulance program that Chief Hatfield is overseeing, that will launch early in 2026. This will kind of be our equivalent of the SAFE team, where the BLS ambulance will take the calls that are more basic life support oriented instead of ALS.
Yeah.
That'll free up the medics to be ready for the major events, the more significant emergencies, more acute emergencies, and allow the BLS ambulance to transport the routine patients, the ones that don't require ALS care. So this, I think this is going to be huge, to be honest with you. I think this is just a major improvement in our operation. It's kind of like SAFE. When SAFE launched, everybody was like, I wonder what the benefit's going to be. Benefit's been gigantic. In fact, they could put another SAFE team crew on the street and probably a third one 24/7, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
expand the hours.
It's
It's not
been-
until 8 p.m.
Right. Exactly. It's been that much of a benefit, reducing the burden on law enforcement and on fire. On the law enforcement side, as you all know, the PD is not trained to deal with psychiatric issues, right? They're coming at it from a law enforcement perspective. So oftentimes their intervention is ineffective and sometimes even harmful, whereas SAFE comes at it from a completely different angle, right? Is it able to address it from the psychological angle, right? It also frees up the PD for other calls. I mean, here in Santa Fe, I will tell you, our police department is busy. all the time, running calls. There's a status board upstairs in the break room that I often go up and watch, and they're just running calls, and there's always calls in queue that waiting for an officer to come available to grab the next call. And a lot of them aren't, code 3 emergencies, but they're calls they have to address. The SAFE team has taken those psychological type calls, the ones that often involve the unhoused, those that are unfortunately have drug dependencies, and don't necessarily, they don't need a law enforcement intervention. They don't necessarily need a medical intervention. They need a psychological and a support intervention, and that's where SAFE team comes in. And I think our BLS ambulance is going to do the same thing. It's going to free up the medics for the more acute emergencies and allow the BLS ambulance to transport the routine emergencies that just aren't ALS, but they still need transport.
2 questions on that. Is the SAFE team budgeted through the city as nothing to do with fire or police as a separate?
I'm not sure what their funding mechanism is.
Okay,
I'm sure it's through the PD. It's gonna be a
Okay.
branch of the PD. 'Cause
okay, so it's not coming away, it's not a takeaway from fire.
No.
Okay, second question,
I was hoping you'd be here today, but obviously they're probably on calls and can't
Yeah.
be here. That's,
okay.
Yeah.
Acronyms, ALS and BLS, what do they stand
so
for?
advanced life support, basic life support. So advanced life
Thank you.
support needs paramedical intervention, whereas basic life support, which is the majority of the calls, are BLS. So our paramedics transport a lot of BLS patients. So it's a level of care that they are able to provide that isn't necessary for these patients. So we're transporting BLS patients in our ALS unit. So this is gonna allow the ALS units, the primary paramedic ambulance units, to be free, ready to respond to the more acute emergencies. So, and I think what we'll see that program, kind of like what we need to see with SAFE, we'll see our BLS program automatically need to expand 24/7, and then even a second unit, to be honest with you. Because the number of EMS calls continues to increase in
Yep.
San Rafael, increase, right? And so, again, a significant portion of those are BLS. And so the BLS units are gonna be able to handle that call volume, that call load, and leave the paramedics available for the critical emergencies.
Given that the first knock on the door is 99% of the time 911. Are the dispatchers now going to have some advanced training to kind of
Oh,
rapidly
they already have
decide?
it. They already have it.
Yeah.
They've had that for years now.
All right,
So they run down a medical evaluation checklist and they determine,
that's safe. This
yeah,
is
it's called
EMS.
EMTD,
Yeah.
EMT dispatch.
Okay.
So they're doing that all on the phone call.
So you said 100 applicants for how many
Yes,
positions?
well,
Like that?
5,
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
that's,
And what
How
this
does that-
shows you too, the level of interest in these positions. And personally, what I like about it is, to be to apply to be a firefighter in San Rafael, you have to have a paramedic certificate. That's a big ask, right? That's a lot of schooling. There's a lot of expense attached to that. So that weeds out a lot of potential candidates who maybe have their EMT certificate, right? You can get that at College of Marin or Indian Valley or Santa Rosa JC. That's a 1-semester class. And when you're an EMT, you can provide a lot of medical care, a lot of emergency medical care. You just can't push drugs. You can't start IVs, but you can do a lot. EMT is I think, a significant level of being able to assist people. And it shows you that a lot of people have their EMT certificate and are looking for work. Got 100 applicants for these jobs. So I think this is a good portal into our agency. And then what it enables us to do is evaluate these employees and potentially, if we want to, eventually put them through paramedic training
right.
at our expense.
Yeah.
Right, as needed, and then shuttle them on into full-time firefighter paramedic positions
Yeah.
as needed. So I think this is great. This is.
And obviously
huge.
speaks well of the reputation of San Rafael.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
They want to be here.
gigantic.
And where will the five be deployed from?
Pardon me?
So,
They'll be based out of Station 51 here.
okay.
Yeah.
And is there an additional ambulance for them? or
Yeah,
has-
so they're gonna take a reserve ambulance.
Yeah.
And just put it into operation as a BLS unit.
Okay.
They'll be staffed by two.
Yes.
What's the salary and benefits? Union staff.
Don't have the information on that.
You thinking about applying?
Yeah, yeah. No,
It's fair.
no, that they, you know, I mean, one of. I'm so full of gratitude that you guys, you know, let me be part of your club. Because, you know, I go back and I remember we went through this, you know, back in the seventies and eighties. And, the same exact thing, I'm sitting here just smiling because I'm thinking about how things change with time.
Yeah.
You know,
And history does repeat itself.
and,
Yeah.
yeah, but this time you're successful, same thing with the new fire station.
Right.
You know, for my whole
Yeah.
career, we worked out of Milwaukee Fire Station.
Yeah.
And every time we said, well, we need to do, we always got shot down,
Yeah.
including buying the houses on this block. Making,
Yeah.
you know, this, but it's all about timing,
Timing is everything.
you know, I mean. Yeah, what stopped us from the BLS thing was the union association.
Well,
Yeah, they didn't like the idea, wanted paramedics and paramedic pay. But times change. Great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to be able to see back then
Mhm.
where we are now, because it really gives me a real clear picture of how good you guys are doing.
Mhm.
It's amazing, I'm so blessed to be a part of this group.
Right. We're happy to have you be part of this group.
Right, nice discussion. Commissioner Burford, anything else in your report? Thank you. Commissioner Chung?
Just one thought as we approach the holidays, maybe we can think about finding sponsorship for firehouse decorations, like we do in the city.
Mhm.
Have buying, purchasing lights and things like that. Firehouses look good. So maybe we could put our heads together.
talk to the foundation.
Yeah, well, we shouldn't always go to the foundation. We can go to like Ladies Market. People that, you know.
Gotcha.
And the foundation has always been great, always been there, but let's maybe think outside the box.
So you're thinking lights for all the firehouses?
Yeah, or just, maybe if we can come up with $500 a firehouse. They can buy lights and decorations and, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I could ask Andy, but in our travels, maybe there's other people who might want to. Just a thought.
All right. Sounds good.
So what are you thinking? You thinking like the top 100 employers in San Rafael?
Or just people on our. In our travels that we know, like, you know, I'm at Amy's Market all the time. That's Andy, maybe. You know, maybe the San Rafael Yacht Club might want to. Donate some money.
Well, you generate a list.
Yeah.
And then share it amongst
Yeah.
us.
In the end, though, it might, I mean, I don't want to get. It's just a thought, but we probably have to use the foundation in terms of the 501(c)(3) portion of it. And have money go to the foundation.
Right, route it through the foundation.
Yeah, I routed it.
People can write it off.
Exactly. But anyways, just something to think about between now and our next meeting.
Okay, good. The other thing too, I was gonna mention it in my report, but for one of the things traditionally that we've done is each one of us has been assigned, or sometimes two of us, to a fire station to give a holiday gift certificate. I think in the past, sometimes we've actually brought some, usually it's food supplies because that's one of the things that ask for the most, but we've done gift cards as well,
I
so.
would have thought exactly to that. So rather than giving them food this year, why don't we all give what we were giving in the gift certificates to this idea? We were all I was doing 200, everybody else was doing 100. There's a good start right there, rather than giving them the gift cards this year.
Mhm.
I don't know, I don't think the food really involves them. That's my own impression. I mean, we've done it every year. Like, change it up for a year.
Yeah, but I think that they appreciate it.
Yeah, but I think they'd appreciate his idea too.
Well, okay,
Dress it up.
Here's what I see as a problem, with that, is that that's a religious thing. And, I think in Marin County, you're gonna get definitely some pushback about
How can lights be religious?
government,
It's a holiday.
celebrating, Christmas.
Well, we don't call them Christmas lights or holiday lights.
Okay, well, I tell you
Yeah,
what,
but
between
just-
now and the next meeting, let me take a survey and talk to, various people within our, before we move anything.
That'd be great, John.
I'm just throwing it out there. so that
I don't disagree with you in this day and age.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, gosh. Killjoy.
No.
I'm teasing.
No, it's-
You can,
No,
you
he's
know,
right.
going into it, you're gonna get some resistance going into it.
If you read what's on next door, people get upset about
Uh-huh.
everything.
Remember the cross that used to be on top of San Rafael Hill?
Yeah.
Your point is such a good one, though. Let's ask some of the first.
Let's take a survey.
Yeah.
Let's table this until the next week.
I would check the fire chief.
Well, he would be my first person. And then it starts.
Okay, Commissioner McCusker.
Yes, I wanted to share with the group, we were on vacation in the Los Sierras up in Gray Eagle. And I picked up the little newspaper and look what was in the paper. And this is a really nice piece printed by PG&E. And I thought, oh my gosh, Stan, this was right up your alley. I was very impressed and I thought, well, why can't PG&E do the same thing for
They do.
San Rafael?
They do.
They
Yeah,
send this out?
That's out there. Yeah, you can get it off their website.
No, but do they send it out with the local paper?
I have seen it. I think I've seen it as an insert on a Sunday IJ.
Good, okay,
I've seen that.
all right.
Yeah.
Very good.
And, all due credit to PG&E for doing it. It's a great piece and it is super valuable. Somewhere in their organization, there is this person where the light went on and says, if we don't do something, we are in deep shit. So,
So they did it.
on the tape, hit the button on that part. But there they button.
Spencer. Okay, anything else?
Did you all see Gavin Newsom's latest decision on CAL FIRE?
No. Let's see if you want.
You all didn't see that? Well, you need to, I'm not gonna talk about it because it's political, but everybody needs to look at his decision that was made in the last 24 hours in regards to wages for CAL FIRE employees. Very disappointing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm not sure that his reason holds water, but I'm not in the know about how the union works with versus the state, but check it out.
maybe submit that with news articles for next month.
No, I don't think I'll submit it. It's too political.
Chief Waterman.
Yeah, I got an opportunity to, go on a ride along, to Hamilton. And that was very interesting, because, again, it lets me see where we are. Where we had been and where we are now, and, I was very impressed with the level of sophistication of the firefighters out there. You know, when I came in, it was, I didn't sign up to go to medical calls, I signed up to be a firefighter. But now the level of sophistication is much. And people knew my name, which blew me away. Not in a good way, but yeah. They did. And we only got to do a couple stations. I still haven't been the tour of this fire station. That's about it. Oh, and then we did go out to the communication center, which was very, very enlightening.
Los Galos?
Yeah, of Los Gatos. Yeah.
Is that in the Marin Commons or the building where,
It's a
Sheriff
city-
Barron's office, where we used to, actually, guys.
yeah,
Never had what it was. So, he did get one of these, thank you, battalion chief cups. And, but I'm looking forward to going with some of the other chief officers.
Now that you mention it, that might be a place to add on our rotation stations.
Exactly.
yeah,
The comm center.
yeah,
You know,
That's
Do they have a
conference room
facility?
We can use and
Yeah.
get a tour of the center.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the young man that was running it, he was a captain from Marin County. I was very, very impressed. And maybe it's just because, getting old, but these people are different than when I came, much more sophisticated.
Today, I'm interrupting the flow of the thought here, but today I saw a truck, a fire truck, a pickup truck that is operated by a fire department. It's not a fire truck. And I'm not sure the jurisdiction. I'm trying to think where the hell it was. It could be up in Watto. But it was painted like pickup trucks for fire departments would be painted with the stripe and the colors and everything the way it is, and the logo for the city. And then overlaid on the edge of the logo for the city was the logo for MWPA. Are they?
Well, MWPA funds a lot of the wildfire prevention programs, so a lot of the vehicles will have dual placards or emblems.
Makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, anything else? Sure. It was a great reminder for all of us to think about ride-alongs. I think I'm gonna re-up and do another one maybe in
Dressed up.
the next month or two.
Dressed up, better be ready to go. Right?
Yeah, I had full turnouts and everything else with my old helmet on. People just looked at me kind of weird. I made sure I dressed appropriate.
And is the best way, Chief, for us to schedule those to go through you or Thomas?
Either
Okay,
will help you, yeah.
all right, great.
You don't go online and you'll never get a response.
I don't think so. Okay, great. So I'll just give a quick update and then we can hear from the chief. At the city council meeting this week, congratulations to Ken and Donna for being reappointed to the fire commission the next 5 years.
5 years or
4.
4 years.
4 years?
Sorry.
Oh, for
Congratulations.
certain people, it's 5, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
The other thing is, I just wanted to call out how nice it was at the badge pinning ceremony and to do those in City Hall and the council chambers and with the bagpipes and just so many folks there standing room only. We had great representation from city council, the city manager was there, a lot of staff. And it was just really a wonderful event and wanted to say a huge congratulations to Danielle for putting it together, but I know it was a team effort and there were so many others involved with it.
Commissioner Sean helped out a great deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice event for the families. That's great.
yeah, it really was. So it's just so nice to honor people that way. Okay, so then the next meeting, I think we will do at Station 57.
Correct.
Great, okay, excellent. Look forward to that.
That'll conclude your fire station sweep for
Yeah,
2025.
yeah, that's great. Hopefully people have enjoyed that. I've found it very valuable to be at each of the stations.
Maybe we should add Marinwood.
Well, they're still their own district. They have their own fire commission, so that might be a bit awkward.
We're still, we had heard from Chief Roman months ago now, that the talk was active about holding in is
It's
it,
moving, it's moving.
so it's still
Yeah,
in
yeah.
process?
He's working very hard at that.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will achieve that goal.
So when we do, then we could go.
Yeah, I think that would be probably more appropriate.
Got it.
Okay, Chief.
Just, well, we've already really touched on almost everything on the report. There's really nothing notable on it. The one thing that we didn't really mention was there's, the Alicia Ann Roosh, burn relay is returning to the North Bay on November 5th. It's a fundraiser for the Burn Foundation. That's something that, you might want to, participate in, donate to. The relay, it starts in Sonoma. It involves multiple fire engines from agencies all over Marin and Sonoma. And it travels down, I believe it's going south. It travels down through Sonoma into Marin, stopping at various designated fire stations to accept donations and to do photo ops and things like that. So there'll be more information, coming up on that, and I'll make sure that you get that as it comes along. But I did provide the, kind of a copy of what's on the website. You can go to the website and check it out yourself as well, but, it's usually, well attended and multiple agencies participate.
They do come with sirens and lights.
Oh yeah, it's the